I am living flesh and blood, human. Government has taken that name and made an all caps name. So it will go to the Supreme Court, I promise you.
You understand that you've been charged in this case with cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic. The maximum penalty for that offense is up to 4 years in prison.
No matter what you do to me, I will get out of it, and there will be lawsuits.
All right, folks, buckle up, because today's hearing is one for the books. We've got a sovereign citizen in court who swears up and down that he's not a legal person, but rather a living flesh and blood human being. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those days. This guy walks into court acting like he just unlocked the secrets of the Constitution from a Facebook meme. He's talking about how the government stole his name and turned it into all caps, and I swear, he's saying it with full confidence like he just uncovered a global conspiracy. You can almost see the judge's patience slowly evaporating, one syllable.
First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir for the people.
Phoebe Muir on behalf of the people.
James Daly on behalf of the defendant.
All right. And we do
I
have.
never asked for an attorney. I said I would be representing myself in appropriate persona. This is just one way to railroad me. That's all. Get me in your jurisdiction.
All right. Mr. Daly, maybe you or Ms. Muir, maybe you can fill me in on the status of the.
Yes, Your Honor. I remember now. We did have an exam in this matter, and Mr. Mattson did represent himself at the preliminary exam. And then Mr. Mattson, then once it was bound over, did fail to appear here in circuit court. So now that he is incarcerated, whereas before he was not, I guess if we just go through whether or not he wants an attorney or still wants to represent himself, since we have had an exam in this matter, once he makes his intentions known on the record, then we can proceed with him still being pro per. But I would like to go through and make sure he is knowingly making that decision.
All right.
Normally,
okay. Yeah, Mr. Mattson, just let me sort this out a little bit. Mr. Daly, have you been appointed as standby, or what exactly is your status?
I was appointed as standby, Your Honor. Mr. Mattson and we get along fine. He's a pleasant individual to talk to, but he wants absolutely none of my legal input. Basically, he has a theory that I don't believe is justified under the laws of the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And I've indicated that to him.
All right. We are back on the record then in the matter of Keeper versus Robert Mattson. Sir, you are Robert Joseph Mattson, correct?
I am an attorney for the all caps name Robert Joseph Mattson. I am living flesh and blood, human. Upper and lowercase, Robert hyphen Joseph :space Mattson. That is my name.
All right.
As shown on my birth certificate, live birth, that would be me, as understood that the government has taken that name and made an all caps name and tried to be to claim an account over that name, which to do business with.
At a time. Now the judge tries to start the hearing being calm, professional, asking the attorneys to state their appearances. Pretty standard stuff. But of course, this guy jumps in and says, I never asked for an attorney, I represent myself, inappropriate persona. You can practically hear the collective eye roll from everyone on that Zoom call. The defense attorney, who's apparently been through this circus before, calmly explains, Yes, Your Honor. He insists on representing himself. And I've got to give this lawyer credit. He's trying to stay composed. But you can tell, deep down, he's counting the minutes until this call is over. Then comes the big moment. The judge asks.
All right. Sir, do you understand that you have a right to be represented by an attorney in this matter?
I do understand that.
You also understand that if you want an attorney and you can't afford one, that you can tell me that and I would appoint one for you at public expense.
UCC 1-308, all rights reserved. By me answering and speaking to you at this time, doesn't mean that I'm in any way being given any kind of authority over my body to you at this time.
Okay,
Your Honor.
I will note, sir, your objection to my jurisdiction over you, and I will preserve that for the record. As
Your Honor,
discussed in your hearing on Monday, it is my position that this court does have jurisdiction over you, and I am going to proceed as such. And
yes, sir.
Again, your objection is preserved for the record, and if you would like to file an appeal, if that becomes necessary at a later date, you'll have the ability to do that.
Actually, I think I can do something a little quicker. I like to exercise my rights of subrogation, have the prosecutor file my right to subrogation, or certify my right to subrogation at this time. It's an undeniable right. Subrogation is the removal of a third party. It's in the laws, Black Laws Dictionary, 6th edition. Also the Bluebeard Law Dictionary, 2nd edition. That the removal of third party would be the prosecutor in this case.
All right. I'll note that request for the record and find that there is no right to subrogation in a criminal matter, and so I'm going to deny that request. Again, your objection will be noted for the record, and if you feel you need to appeal that decision at a later date, you will have the ability to do that. You understand, sir? You understand, sir? That you understand, sir? Sir, please let me speak. Do you understand, as I asked earlier, that if you can't afford an attorney and you want one, that the court would appoint one for you at public expense?
Do not want one. Thank you.
Okay.
I am not a U.S. citizen. I am sovereign. Separated myself from the U.S. government back in 2018.
We've covered that objection, Mr. Mattson, and I've ruled on it. Again, it's preserved for the record, and you can appeal it to the Michigan Court of Appeals if you would like to do that.
Sir, you are Robert Joseph Mattson, correct? And this guy responds with, I am attorney for the all caps named Robert Joseph Mattson. I am the living flesh and blood, upper and lower case, Robert-Joseph Mattson. At that point, I lost it. You can't make this stuff up. He starts rambling about how his birth certificate was converted into a financial account and that the government is doing business under his name. Like, buddy, no one's trying to open a credit card with your name on it. Nobody's trying to do business with you. They're just trying to get through this case before lunch. And then the judge, being paid.
Well, definitely, it's fraud. American jurisprudence guaranteed fraud. I studied it up and down. I know it all too well. So it will go to the Supreme Court. I promise you.
Okay.
As of right now, for the record, and let the record reflect any objections or denials that you keep denying me, that I'm asking you to file a 1090, an OID 1099 for the prosecutor, because the prosecutor is using my name to do business, and I will prepare the 1096 and the 1099A. So this court proceeding is going to go on and have a jury trial. There's going to be sovereign people, secure party creditors at my status, and also you're going to be filing that OID 1099 for the prosecutor.
Right, sir, do you understand that you've been charged with possession of a controlled substance in this case, and that the maximum penalty
I don't
for that
understand the
offense?
nature of the cause.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to let me finish when I'm speaking. I've done the same for you, and I'd ask you to do the same for me.
Your Honor. Yes, sir.
You understand that you've been charged in this case with possession of a controlled substance, cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic of less than 25 grams, that the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 4 years in prison.
I do not understand the nature and the cause of the crime.
All right, I'm advising you at this point that you have been charged with possession of a controlled substance, cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic of less than 25 grams, and that the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 4 years in prison. I'm also advising you that you've been charged with operating on a suspended license. A license has been suspended, revoked, or denied, that there is a second offense notice with that, and therefore the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 1 year in jail and or a $1,000 fine. I'm also advising you that you have been charged in this case with alcohol, open container in a vehicle, and the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 90 days in jail. This also carries a habitual offender second offense notice, which increases the potential penalty to 1.5 times the maximum sentence on the primary offense.
Patient as ever asks the most basic question. Does he understand his right to an attorney? And what does he say? UCC 1308, all rights reserved? Speaking to you does not give authority over my body. At this point, even the stenographer's probably shaking their head. The judge tries to keep things moving, politely acknowledging his objection for the record, but this guy is just gone. He starts throwing out words like subrogation and Black's Law Dictionary like he's casting legal spells. He actually demands that the prosecutor certify his right to subrogation.
As I've indicated, you do have the opportunity to consult with a lawyer if you wanted one, and if you can't afford one, I would appoint one for you at public expense. Mr. Matson, or sir, I believe you've referenced this already, but do you have any training in the law?
Yes, I do.
Would you tell me just a little bit what that training is?
Common law.
Okay, and have you studied that yourself?
Yes, I have, along with a couple other people.
Okay, you understand that the law in this case consists of criminal statutes that you're alleged to violate, the Michigan Court Rules of Criminal Procedure, Michigan Court Rules on Evidence, and any number of decisions from the Michigan Supreme Court and Court of Appeals which interpret those statutes and rules.
I understand that the Michigan Supreme Court offers 2 different types of courts. Common law court and a tribunal military maritime court, which this court is operating under, and they're not operating properly with me at this time.
All right, you understand that the prosecutor that's...
Sorry, go ahead.
You understand that the prosecutor that's going to try this case has been to law school, has had significant education and a number of years of experience and training in the law?
And that's perfectly fine.
All right, do you understand that if you do represent yourself, you're going to be required to follow the Michigan Court Rules and the Rules of Evidence?
I'm going to be operating under common law laws, which that's what I should be under as common law. If this is not a common law court, I don't belong here.
All right, you understand that I know you've made that objection and then made it several times, but I'm going to conduct a trial on this matter that's going to require you to follow the Michigan Court Rules and the Michigan Rules of Evidence. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that those rules are going to determine whether you can do things like ask certain questions of witnesses, admit documents, photographs, or any other evidence that you might have.
Yes, sir.
You understand that you're going to be responsible for the jury selection process, and that's also governed by court rules, which determine when you can appropriately challenge a witness.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that in order to become a licensed attorney to practice in Michigan, it typically requires at least 3 years of law school and passing a bar exam to show that you have a sufficient knowledge to work as an attorney?
Not a part of the state of Michigan. I am the Republic of Michigan, Michigan Republic.
Okay, you understand that in order, if you wanted to have a license to practice law in Michigan, you would need to go to law school and pass the bar exam.
No, incorrect.
Which, by the way, is an insurance term. It has absolutely nothing to do with criminal law. But hey, in sovereign... So now, after listening to what feels like an entire sovereign citizen TED Talk, the judge tries to bring the hearing back to reality. He starts calmly explaining the charges: possession of narcotics, operating on a suspended license, open container, all that, and the maximum penalties. Pretty standard stuff. But the moment he says up to 4 years in prison, this guy cuts him off mid-sentence and goes, "I do not understand the nature and cause of the crime." Of course you don't, buddy. You're too busy inventing your own legal dictionary. The judge patiently repeats himself, outlining every charge again, word for word.
Okay, you understand that the attorneys handling your case, the prosecutor is going to have a license to practice law in Michigan that meets the requirements that I've already indicated to you.
Which makes any judge or prosecutor or attorney a part of Great Britain, foreigners, only operating under their foreign sovereign immunity, which actually I have myself and trumps over all yours.
All right. I appreciate your objection to this court's jurisdiction, and I've ruled on that. And again, I'm not going to change the ruling. You can appeal that to the Court of Appeals in the Supreme Court if you wish at the appropriate time.
I'm gonna do that.
Do you understand that
Definitely.
at least in my opinion, I think you're going to be at a significant disadvantage in this case if you attempt to represent yourself with having a licensed attorney on the other side?
I already am. I'm dealing with the wolves. There's no fair trial in this military maritime courts. There's nothing fair about it. I mean, you've already made a determination the other day that I was not guilty. Last time I seen you in court. Let the record reflect that. I mean, you sit there and enter the plea and not guilty.
Sir, as I indicated to you at that hearing, I entered a not guilty plea for you. That is not my determination that you are not guilty of what's been alleged.
It's working from the bench, Your Honor. It's not your job to enter a plea. It's mine or my attorney's, which in this case it would be mine. So the court has already made a determination that I am not guilty.
All right. Sir, are you sure that you want to represent yourself knowing all of the disadvantages, or at least what I believe to be the disadvantages that you face?
Yes.
And is that decision absolute and unequivocal?
Absolute and unequivocal.
Do you have any hesitation about the fact that you want to
trial will be my peers. My peers will be secure party creditors.
Do you have any
That's gonna
hesitation?
be the jury.
Do you have any hesitation about the fact that you want to represent yourself?
Nope. No matter what you do to me, I will get out of it, and there will be lawsuits.
All right. At this point, I'm going to determine that Mr. Mattson has made an unequivocal request to represent himself. The right has been asserted knowingly and voluntarily after discussion advising him of the disadvantages of self-representation.
Mr. Daly.
And at this point, I will appoint.
Will Mr. Daly be willing to come over and talk to me here after we get done with this video screen
All right.
conference?
Yeah, I will appoint Mr. Daly as a standby counsel. And sir, you're asking.
Can I speak with him about a couple of things?
I can put you in a breakout session so that you can speak to him over video conference privately.
Let me do that, please.
Okay.
Word. But it's like talking to a brick wall that thinks it's a Supreme Court justice. And you can see it in the judge's eyes. That slow blink of, why did I go to law school for this? Then the sovereign citizen drops another gem. I've studied common law with a couple other people, and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, probably in a Facebook group called We the People versus the DMV, the judge explains, in the most professional way possible, that this is not a common law court. It's a criminal court operating under Michigan law. And this man's response? That's not.
All right, Mr. Mattson should be back from the breakout session shortly.
Your Honor, I'm going to be going over and talking to Mr. Mattson. I still think, after my discussion with him, there may be some ways to work this out.
Okay, he should be back from the breakout session any second here.
They're back on.
All right, we do have Mr. Mattson back from the breakout session with Mr. Daly at this point. Mr. Daly, you had indicated to me off the record that you were going to have an in-person meeting with Mr. Mattson at this point. Is that correct?
I will. I can't get that done till Monday, but I've already indicated to him I'll do it on Monday.
Okay, and sir, is that something that you want to do, is have an in-person meeting with Mr. Daly?
Yeah, I want to see if there's something that we can work out here just to save time and hassle and a lot of grief between all of us.
Okay,
But I really would like to speak to Mr. Daly one last time before.
all right. Okay, so this is an arraignment. I presume, Mr. Mattson, that you'd like to enter a not guilty plea until you've had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Daly. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not entering any plea until I speak with Mr. Daly and he
Okay.
speaks with the prosecutor.
Based on that, I'm going to find that Mr. Mattson stood mute to the charge, and I'll enter a not guilty plea on his behalf. And I'll set this then for a pretrial.
I object to that, Your Honor, Judge. You cannot enter, that's working from the bench, you cannot enter a not guilty plea on my behalf. Either me or my attorney has to do that. I mean, has the court again made a determination that I'm not guilty?
All right, as I've explained previously, it's not a determination that you're not guilty. It is an entry of a plea based upon your not entering a plea at the arraignment. I will set a pretrial for December 1st at 8 a.m. And that will give time for Mr. Daly to have an in-person meeting with you at the jail.
Can I speak with Mr. Daly here again in private?
I'll just go over to the jail and see him on Monday, Judge.
Okay, he's going to come over to the jail and see you in person on Monday. So you can tell the officer that's with you that you're done in court for today.
Okay, how about next time a bond, PR bond, next time I go to court? All right, done.
With respect to the bond for right now, I'm going to leave it as it's currently set based on prior failure to appear at an arraignment.
I did appear. You wasn't there. I went to the clerk's office. Then I went on the television screen for Anna Marie's court. And it kept clicking me off for about 45 minutes. And after that, I gave up. I did appear. I think that's a due process thing.
Not a real court. It's a maritime military court. Oh boy, here we go again with the Admiralty flag with fringe nonsense. The guy's basically saying that because there's a gold fringe on the flag, the courtroom is secretly a naval base. I mean, if that logic worked, every elementary school in America would be under martial law. And then he tops it off with, I am not a U.S. citizen. I am part of the Michigan Republic. That's when even the judge can't help but show a tiny smirk. That, oh, we're deep in it now kind of look. The judge, though, still gives him every opportunity. He says, sir, you'll be required to follow Michigan's rules of evidence and court procedure if you represent yourself. And the guy goes, nope, I operate under common law. At this point, I'm convinced the judge deserves a medal. Because if it were me, I'd be calling for a 10-minute recess just to scream into a pillow. And then, get this, The judge tries to warn him that representing himself is a terrible idea, that he'll be at a significant disadvantage. And what does our genius say? I already am. I'm dealing with wolves. You can't make this up. Then he says, you already determined I was not guilty last time I saw you. The judge's face? Priceless. He calmly explains that entering a not guilty plea isn't the same as being found not guilty. But this guy insists, that's your determination. I'm free. It's honestly impressive how confidently wrong he is. It's like watching someone